Hi everybody, welcome to the thumb. Standing in my farm around and find out black bean plot. Last week, well not last week, about 5 days ago, I sprayed this again with a grass killer this time. The part I'm standing in it's stressed. You can see they're yellow. They're definitely they're stressed. But this part here is where I don't know, these first probably 6 rows they were just, before planting, it was sprayed with 2,4-D and Roundup. And it was not tilled at all. And I let the cattle eat this down to nothing. There was really nothing growing here. I mean, there was maybe a few weeds, but yeah, so it had no cover, so to speak. And then it was planted into just plain untilled ground. And then this part here, these 6 rows I ran the disc over just real, I wouldn't say real lightly, but I just one pass, nothing special at all. Yeah, definitely not what I would do on the other conventional beans as far as prep goes. But I don't know if just the aerated soil made a difference. I mean, they're stressed too, don't get me wrong. I as far as starter fertilizer, everything, I did everything the same as what I would do on my conventional stuff. But then this part here had some rye growing in it. It was like, well, there's some growing there. It was like waist tall. If you look here, give you a belly. But yeah, here's one that's waist tall. And that's what this whole part was. Let me turn this back around so you don't see my ugly face. But yeah, I think with the warmer weather we've had, this is actually a kind of a hotter season than we've had for quite a while. But this part here is actually doing pretty good. I'm kind of happy with it actually for just a test plot. There's some things I would probably do different next year if I do it again. Actually, this part here next year is probably going to be planted green into just plain standing rye, just like I did the soybeans last year, like way over there, that green strip. Actually, we're going to go over there in a little bit, so I want to show you that too. But yeah, anyway, bottom line is this part's doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, but there is some cover on it. It probably helped hold the moisture in, and as that cover breaks down, that's kind of feeding. The roots are still in the ground, and it's feeding the beans. Little rain wouldn't hurt. We had about 1/10 of rain, and that was the first rain we had in about well over a week, probably a week and a half since we've had any rain at all. And then we got that 1/10, which stopped me from getting my rye off. I got on the other farm that I farm, had another 15 acres of rye that was better, so that's where I had him start. I do all my combining is done. A custom guy comes in and does it all. Yeah, this is a prime example of a good year that it would be a good idea to have my own combine. I did have a different neighbor, actually. You can see where the oats was over there. Yeah, I had a different neighbor take that off. It was just like 15 acres. Really didn't run that good, and I think this is probably the last year I'm going to grow oats just because of that. It's not profitable. I probably barely made my rent. That's probably about the profit I had, was to be able to pay my rent. So, but yeah, anyway, so the black bean farm around and find out food plot, not food plot. I keep calling it a food plot. Well, it kind of is, because look at these. Even though I got a fence built around this, the deer still get in here. But anyway, they are a little bit stressed, but it's been dry and it's been, you know, been hot. So if we'd get a little rain, I'll bet you that yellow part would go away. Anyway, so let's go. Actually, I'm going to go look at kind of over there and look at the oats and stuff. Okay, now I'm walking through the oat field. Yeah, the neighbor that took this off, he actually lives just, I mean, or the combine was sitting like a quarter mile down the road, and they dairy farm, and they just got done with their wheat, and I called the kid and said, hey, how would you like to do my oats for me? I said, I'll throw the straw in on the deal. And he was all over that. He said, yeah, I can do it this afternoon. And which made me happy because there was a lot of rain coming. Like this coming week, it's going to be 4 days, 5 days before we can do any combining again, because it's just hot, humid weather and rainy. And I'm actually, that rye there is I'm gonna lose a lot just because it's gonna start bending over. I don't think the whole field will fall down or anything, but just, I don't know, every day more stems are gonna just fall over on it, because that's what rye does. But yeah, at least the oats was off. I actually told him to any place green, like that patch there, any patch that had any green to it, I said, use your best judgment, just go around the bad stuff. And that's what he did. I think what I'm going to do is some of these spots where there is some oats, maybe in a week or so, I might get my all crop out and just go through that. I could probably get, I don't know, I could probably get maybe 50 bushel out of it, and I'll just use it for cover crop anyway. But here's where, this is where I had this was just really weedy, and I ran the cattle across it about, well, I got them off of here, oh, it's probably been 2 weeks ago now. But you can see there's actually some regrowth here. And when he gets all done taking the straw off, I'll probably plant some cover crops, maybe some sorghum, and probably some rye actually. I've got some old rye I want to just use up. This is going to be black beans next year, so I don't really care if I have a good stand of rye for, I'm going to plant these conventionally unless I change my mind. And yeah, so I don't care if there's a real good stand of rye. So I'm going to use up some old stuff I had, and probably put some new stuff into, and then yeah, some sorghum, maybe some buckwheat, just a kind of a clean the floor out of the granary type of thing. Throw it out here. But yeah, the oats didn't really do that great, and but I don't care really, because this, like I said, I think is going to be the last year I grow oats. In fact, I think the stuff I saved for seed, I'm just going to throw up in the granary and just use it for cover crop. And then if I ever decide to grow oats again, I'll just buy some new seed. I think if I grow oats again, I might, for my own seed, I think I might get some Cossack oats or something and try that. But anyway, here nor there. I'm going to just walk over, and I haven't been over there in a while. Just want to look at my, I got some sorghum planted over there for, basically for pasture, because it was too wet to plant oats on this spring. So as I was walking over here, I couldn't help but notice that kind of how clean this ground is. Usually my oats isn't this clean after it comes off, but I did see a lot of clover growing. I don't know what kind of clover. Actually, there's probably a few different kinds. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I will, hopefully over the next week we'll get some moisture, and I want to, after he gets the straw off, I'm gonna yeah, drill some cover crops in here, but right now it wouldn't make much sense because it's so dry. Okay, back to, so this part here was, I think I broadcasted oats, but I couldn't get it disked in. It was very thin, so I actually came back and drilled in some barley just to see what would happen, and it grew. Yeah, I'll probably run the all crop through this too if the weeds don't get too bad. Yeah, But over here, this was way too wet to even, I couldn't even get out there to broadcast the rye or the oats into. And so I came back later and planted some, all I did was planted it. What the heck? I don't know what that is. That looks more like triticale or something. But yeah, anyway, I planted this mix of, has some sorghum and just a bunch of stuff. There actually was some, I think there's some sun hemp. Yeah, I think that's a sun hemp right there. I planted some sunflower. And it was very dry, not very good conditions. Didn't put any fertilizer on it. So it's not that great, but there again, it's just going to be, going to run the cattle across it. And whatever they eat. Whatever they don't will die through the winter. And this will all be black beans next year. Probably I'll run them across it, and then I might even come through and clip it too, just to, because these are getting close to going to seed, all these weeds. So yeah, I kind of want to get that taken care of. But yeah, that's kind of a good thing about having cattle. Like I had this spot, and then that spot where I had where I grazed off them oats earlier. Yeah, I don't know. If you didn't have cattle, what would you do with that stuff? This is all non-tile ground here, and then actually that low spot down there was non-tile too. But yeah, so what would you do with that if you didn't have some cattle? Anyway, now I'm going to go over and I'm going to walk through and show you them soybeans that I crimped the rye, planted green and crimped the rye down. Okay, now I'm walking through the rye. This part here doesn't look too bad. These tracks I'm walking on, they're kind of convenient. It's from my father-in-law. He in the spring he was driving through here with his Ranger, and over there, that woody spot over there, that's on the opposite side of the ditch. But anyway, he drove his Ranger through here through the spring, and that might make a lot of people mad, but for one thing, I rent the ground from him, so it's his property, and he's 91 now. And if driving his Ranger around keeps his blood pumping, then he can drive wherever he wants, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, the rye here actually doesn't look too bad now. But what worries me is over the next week, you can see little spots where it's bending over. I don't think the whole thing will go flat or anything, but every day you're going to lose just a little bit more yield because of that. And there's really nothing I can do about it. First few years I grew rye, I would worry about it, but I really don't worry about it anymore. Because what will happen is, actually, it's kind of on the subject, but all the rye that I planted into green was volunteer rye, and I think that's what it came from. There were some spots that were thin and almost didn't have any rye on it, and you know, maybe that didn't bend over quite as much, and it was combined. At first, you know, everybody would say, "Oh, it went through the combine," but it didn't. It was just from this. It was just on the ground. But here's one experiment I had, and it's actually it's working very pleasingly. I planted this into the rye, but I didn't. What do you want to say? I didn't crimp it down or spray it or anything. It's actually, I kind of wish I wouldn't have put any growth regulator on this rye now, because yeah, it's actually over knee high in that spot. And actually it's better. You can see where I crimped and where I didn't crimp. It's actually better in the rye, where rye is still standing. It's kind of strange, but yeah, it's actually thriving. Very happy with it. So this is where I roller crimped the rye after I planted it green. I planted it in boot stage and roller crimped it in anthesis, which actually the anthesis I think was maybe a little bit premature. I should have waited another, I don't know, 5 days or a week even, because a lot of it popped back up, and I did end up going back and spraying it. I got a little gun shy. Yeah, just use that tool that's in the toolbox. But I just sprayed it yesterday actually, and because all these, I don't know what kind of grass that is, but it's coming up, and yeah, I got some clover coming in again. But yeah, it looks good. I also put some foliar feed and stuff like that in with it too. So, but for no-till, I'm very happy with this. Up there, kind of on that ridge, that's kind of a, I don't know if it's sandy or whatever, but it's lighter soil. Even up there, it kind of exceeded my expectations, if that's a term. Yeah, I can't wait to see this in about a week, because as I, the stuff I killed there, will start to rot down, and we're supposed to get some moisture this week, and so it should just kind of explode, I think. Won't be so embarrassed by it when people drive by. This is actually the best part of the field, but it's the farthest. The road is kind of way up there. You can't even see it from here. And up by the road, it doesn't look so great because the headlands is very compacted in this field. But anyway, that's about it. Yeah, I think this field here, the soybeans before leaf drop, I think I am going to I'm going to try to get I actually went over and seen my neighbor just basically on the other side of those woods had some spray done with a drone, and I went over. He told me about it. I said, well, I'm gonna go over there, and the guy was just finishing up when I got there, and so I didn't get any footage of it. But yeah, I asked him if he did cover crops, so I'm gonna get him to, before leaf drop, I think I'm gonna get him to, I don't know, throw a few pounds of radishes into this, and then after I get done planting, I might just broadcast rye into it. I don't know. I gotta do some more research on that. How many years can you grow rye? I mean, can you grow it every year and it doesn't give you trouble? I did have over there along the lane. I did find an armyworm. It was just one that I saw. I haven't seen any damage or anything from any insects, but I don't want to jinx myself. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Really appreciate you guys watching. Check out my other videos, and yeah, thanks for watching, and take her easy.